Red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light, red light.
You know, folks, we're nearing 200 episodes, so I figured it was a prime opportunity to bring back some guests of the past. And well, why not bring back a man who's not only become a champion, a king, a respected man, a law officer, Nick Justice. Welcome back, mate.
Thank you very much for having me. How the devil are we, so? You good?
Very well indeed, brother. Very well indeed. But you know, you appeared on this show at the start of season 4, all the way back last year as well. So like time has flown by. How you been since then?
All good. Yeah, things are going well. Keeping busy. You know, restoring the faith in Scottish wrestling. Being the figure, being the forefront of that. Enjoying myself along the way. That's what it's all about.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you've done your very good due diligence for this scene right now. You've done some good things. People may perceive them as bad. I don't know why. You're doing your good justice, but you're doing very well. You know, let's obviously talk about the big one, Glasgow School of Wrestling champion. I want to talk about how did that moment come about and what did it mean for you to become a champion to represent the school?
Yeah, so ultimately it came through at the King of the Scheme, quite like the King of the Ring idea. And yeah, that was almost a year ago. It'll be a year ago, a year and 2 weeks. So I'll be the longest reigning champion that Glasgow School of Wrestling or CPW have had. But yeah, it was something that when it was kind of happening, I was very, very happy. Always, I still am. But it's been great, and we've got to wrestle a lot of different people, a lot of different, you know, students from the school as well. That's the big thing about it. It's about wrestling, you know, upcoming kind of talent that we've got at School of Wrestling. So to be in there with the young guns, as it were, people that can run rings around me and tie me up in knots. So that in their own ages of 16, 17, and kind of around about that area. So it's been great, and getting in there with different people has been fantastic as well. So no, it's been awesome. Loved it.
Good as well, because I know that did the school not recently move to a new location as well?
It sure did. It moved to what is now called the Church of Wrestling, which used to be obviously a church. There was then a gym, and then kind of, I don't know the background essentially, but it was acquired by Glasgow School of Wrestling, and that's now its home, and it's leaps and bounds to what it was before. It's more, you know, the venue is, I say hours, but you know what I mean, it's a school, so if classes are between certain times but they run on, then it runs on. There's no, you know, there's no curfew, there's no this, there's no that. You can play whatever music you want, you can do whatever you want, and it's a really, really cool venue. And it kind of reminds me of, I think is it the venue at New Wave use, I think, and it's kind of like within a church. It's very similar to that idea, and I really like that venue. So yeah, no, it's awesome, and we've got 2 rings within, so there's a lot more, you know, work that can be done, time spent less, waiting around. You can keep moving, keep working, keep getting better, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely as well. And so it looks like such a great facility that Ollie Ravy Davy has raised and produced, and it's great to see. Essentially as well, I feel like wrestling in Glasgow is so integrate to the culture of Glasgow as well, with what CPW and APW have done. For yourself, Nick, what do you feel like wrestling has done to impact the culture of Glasgow?
Well, I think as well, for a long time, it's obviously been, you know, ICW's been the figurehead, and and even from way back then, like, these sort of guys have become household names in Scottish culture. You know, you think of like your Grados, Jack Jester, etc. These are all names that are, like, you think about the community of Glasgow, and that's who comes to head. So, and that's a lot of respect to them. It goes without saying, and I feel that now with the likes of all these other promotions kind of upcoming. You've got all these. You've got not just CPW, APW. You've also got things like Valor. You've got all these other different, you know, promotions, and to make Scottish wrestling better, than what ever has been. There's this, we're going to a boom period as well, which means that like your likes of the up and coming big names that are happening. I hate to put him over, but Ravy Davy's one of them. You know, he is pushing himself to be, you know, like this TikTok star, this household name, particularly in Scottish wrestling, in the British scene as well, and he works really hard. So, but yeah, no, I think wrestling's now, it was always quite a taboo thing to enjoy, wasn't it? And I feel with WWE and Netflix and who they're bringing in and the talent they've got, it's kind of cool to like wrestling now, and I feel that's helped with everything. And I feel in Glasgow there's a much bigger kind of respect for it in a boom period, and you just look at the things like how much now that WWE, etc., AEW are now coming to the UK a lot more than what they ever did before, and I think that's got a lot to do with the homegrown talent and the promotions that are working really hard to cement that new Glasgow kind of community or culture, as you said.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously WWE have been here many times. Clash of the Castle Scotland, Raws and SmackDowns they've taped in the past. I know TNA has been here as well, but obviously mentioned that AEW are coming over for the Hydro as well for a Dynamite and Collision taping. The second biggest company in the world with the stars of the likes of Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada. For yourself, Nick, what does it mean to you to obviously see that spotlight back on Glasgow with the second biggest wrestling company coming over here for a show?
It's amazing, as I said, just to touch on what I said before, it kind of shows how big the wrestling scene or the popularity of wrestling is in Glasgow, in this city. And again, it's got a lot to do with all these other promotions, you know, producing grassroots talent and, you know, getting people like wanting to be involved. And there's so many schools now, as well, like I forgot to mention like Iron Girders as well. There's so many different schools. And I think as well, a big part of that, you can't talk about it without mentioning like the popularity of Joe Hendry as well. He's put a lot of you know, spotlight on wrestling in Scotland, and the stuff he's doing, absolutely fantastic, unbelievable stuff. And yeah, so I think that helps, and it's amazing that other promotion like so you said AEW, second biggest one in the world, most likely, probably, and they've latched onto that as well. They see how popular it is here. They see what talent they've got here or can potentially use, and no, it's great, and I'm all for it, 100%.
Of course, absolutely. You know, it puts a spotlight, and then all the indie companies get that spotlight. People want to go to and see all the wrestling they can, so everyone benefits. I also want to touch upon Joe Hendry appeared at WrestleMania 41 against Randy Orton, and getting to hear from Edinburgh, Scotland, announcing the stadium was quite a heartwarming thing as well. I was like, yes, acknowledged us. Hooray. Yeah. Just your thoughts on Hendry's moment at Mania.
Amazing. And I think a lot of people were kind of shitting on it a little bit. Oh, we get jobbed out. No, he didn't. The main thing for me was when I was watching it live at the time, like we all popped for it. Everyone that was watching it with, we all popped, we went nuts. But the main thing I wanted to see, once he's came out and he's got into the ring and before the match started, I was like, can we rewind this? I need to see how the crowd reacted to it, because I feel that was really, really, really important. And when I rewinded it and watched it back, and that insane reaction he got was amazing to hear. And it again, I was really, really happy for, I don't know him personally, but for him obviously, and for Scottish wrestling. So no, I was really, really, really chuffed with that. And I think as well, like, I believe I'd probably imagine that the idea was he comes in and gets probably squashed sooner than that, but the fact he got a lot of his shitting, so to speak, tells you a little bit what they think of him, and what Randy Orton probably thinks of him as well. And the wee Orton doing his wee bit at the end, that was a wee nod of approval. I think, just from an outsider looking in, obviously that's just what I took from it. But yeah, loved it. And I thought as well, it was a great break from what we'd kind of seen throughout that night was just wrestling, like constant bangers. And that was a nice wee change in pace. Nice wee kind of, it was good. No, I really liked it. Really happy for him. And all the best to him going forward.
Oh, absolutely as well. And it was a nice wee good break moment as well during that sane card as well. And obviously as well, Joe isn't a WWE wrestler. He's a TNA wrestler, but the TNA World Champion. He's done some things that people would never thought even physically, mentally, or even reality-based possible of a TNA World Champion being on a WrestleMania card. Does that really speak to Joe's caliber of a performer, and then also speaks to the talent that Scotland can produce?
A bit of both. And I think this is I may get a lot of shit for this, but he's put a lot of emphasis on character work. And I think a lot of people in wrestling, particularly the newer kind of style, forget about character. But that's what gets you over. That's what people remember. They remember the character. Obviously, you've got to be able to work as well. I'm not saying that Joe Hendry can't. Obviously, he can. But the fact that where he's made that step is because of the character. He's zoned in on who he is as Joe Hendry, the character, and look where it's got him. And but also as well, apart from that, the hard work he's put in, I'd say, I think it just shows you where the kind of state of wrestling is just now. There is a lot of like recognising other promotions, whereas before, well, I know during the kind of Monday Night Wars there was a bit, but like there is overlapping, there is like a working together, especially with like NXT, TNA now, and the AAA stuff as well. That they're just kind of, so part and parcel, it's hard work Joe Hendry, but also the kind of positive way wrestling is just now with the overlaps, and it's kind of like more territory-esque a little bit, which would make stuff like exciting where you just be like, right, who's going to show up where? But no, it's really good.
No, absolutely, man, as well. And obviously, getting back to yourself, because you're the star here right now, we've got to highlight yourself. And I need to talk about one particular match in particular. Is this hardcore wrestling from Glasgow match, dog collar match, you and Cousins Xander?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it did. It was yeah, it was I don't want to go too much, but it was probably my favourite match I've done, I think. And not because it was violent and, you know, a dog collar, a gimmick match, or whatever you want to call it, a stipulation. I was just very happy with the story we told during that match, and how we used the stipulation to add to the story. And I feel a lot of people, when they do, or wrestlers, when they do stipulation matches, they just feel like, let's just do spots that make no sense. But we didn't do that many, you know, big spots, but we made the dog collar like seem really important throughout it, like, and it was such a dangerous weapon. And then we just kind of escalated how we kind of got there and how we got to that finish and the end. And yeah, no, I'm really chuffed. And again, it takes two to tango. So Cousin Xander is one of the most underrated minds in wrestling, British wrestling. The way he looks at things, the way he comes up with, like, you know, different scenarios, different storytelling is phenomenal. So a lot of credit goes to him, but it does take two to tango. So I'll give myself the pat on the back as well.
Absolutely, indeed. Hey, get that pat on the back right there. Obviously, dog collar match, hell of a stipulation. Do you now have a desire for other stipulations you want to try and get an experience in within the ring?
Yeah, I'm up for doing. Don't want to say anything because there'll be matches I'll be like, I'm up for doing. Okay, I'll put it this way: I'm up for doing anything other than a death match. It's not my scene. Credit to them. That's what they're up to. It's just not for me personally. But I'd like to, like, stipulations to, again, to tell stories in a, you know, so it's not just brutal for the sake of brutal. It's, you're telling a story throughout and using the stipulation to your advantage for that reason. And that's a challenge, and I really, really kind of enjoy that. You know, I've had a strap match now, dog collar match, being a ladder match. So yeah, and it's all been really good, and it's weird because there's a weird nervous. You're nervous before you go out, but I don't know. As soon as I get in there, it just kind of fades away, and I just know what I'm doing, and it's good. But I'm up for anything, to be fair. That's to answer your question.
Absolutely, except if it's death matches. Let's put that to the corner.
Yeah,
Into the corner.
Nope, no thank you.
The strap match, I'm correct, that's the one with Stan the Slav at EPW.
Yes, you're correct, yeah.
I remember I had Mr. Wander on, and he spoke very highly of that match, and I've seen on the socials that match has done very well. Is it quite a rewarding experience to see when you put so much of your body and your mind into a match that it is rewarded by the audience and even wrestlers and promoters?
Sorry, say that again. You cut off there a wee bit. Sorry, apologies.
No worries. Obviously, you had the match with Stan the Slav, strap match, APW. Mr. Wanderer, I had him on. He spoke highly of that match. Is it quite rewarding to see the internet reaction from fans, wrestlers, and promoters to a match that you've put so much hard work into?
100%, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, that is why you're doing it, essentially. And I don't mean from accolades from like colleagues or other wrestlers. Obviously, that's great. But I mean from like, you know, people that have watched it and they've really taken the time to go, that was awesome, blah blah blah. That is what you're looking for. Everything that you do, you might think the match is shit. I didn't, by the way. I loved it, but you might think a match is shit. But see, as long as the crowd enjoy it and their reactions are there for what you were wanting to do, it doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned. But no, it's great to, you know, to hear, you know, complimentary stuff about the work that you're doing, because you've also taken time to think about what you're doing, and it doesn't come too quickly. So it is really, really good, and to hear it from, you know, some of your other kind of wrestlers and colleagues is great as well. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm guessing then that's why you were obviously so frustrated when we had a chat at Rugby Rumble and not winning the Rumble to win the title then.
Yeah, of course, because I wanted to obviously win it. I wanted to be APW champion, and it was just because I was that close. And to be in there for such a long period of time as well, and to just fall short, I would rather maybe came in and get thrown it right away. I know that sounds weird, but to get so close yet so far is more of a kind of punch the gut, you know. But I will win it one day.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll win it one day. Mark my words.
I'm sure of that, brother, as well. And I'm guessing then that added into the frustrations of the event surrounding the big strong man at CPW. Obviously, people have reacted to this online with confusion, not really understanding it. So for the record, can you explain the actions of obviously what happened around you, the big strong man, and the CPW tag team titles?
Yeah, so essentially, I've had big strong man under my wing, so to speak, for the past year, because he was down on his luck, so to speak. He was looking for a way out. Took him under my wing with the expectation of, you know, making him into a bigger star, making him into a better wrestler, making him into someone like me, you know. However, as time went on, he just never gave me that respect that I deserved. Everything, he would get through the weakest link challenges to, you know, to pick a title opportunity. And throughout all of that, he just wanted a shot at my title. I could tell. So I then redirected him, you know, use my words and, you know, manipulation to go for the tag titles. But he just doesn't have, no matter what I taught him, he's just never had that killer instinct. He just never had that will to win no matter what. And that's what this business is all about. It doesn't matter who you win or how you get there, as long as you cross the line. And he just couldn't understand that through his stupid brain. So I knew I had to cut him loose, but I knew I had to win the tag titles as well. So the plan devised was, lure him in to ensure that he was comfortable with me. But I always kept him at arm's length for that reason. And the plan all along was for us to win the belts, and I would hand it straight off to Monstrum. Because anyway, all the hard work that I've put in to make him better is how he should repay me. He should repay me with handing me both tag titles, and I should be able to give them to whoever I want to, because he doesn't deserve them. He doesn't even deserve to look, even touch them, because he is below me in every single level. I shouldn't be in a ring with him. He's not my level. He's the dirt under my shoe. And I don't even like saying his name now, to be honest. And it's an absolute travesty as well that they were vacated and me and Monstrum couldn't be tag champions. Why not? Why not? And it's never been explained to me. No one said to me why. And it's a scandal, to say the least. And it's, it's very poor from that CPW management, of which I'll need to have a discussion with them at some point. But that's a story for another day, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so. A story for another day. I also now want to know, you've done this situation, you've made your mark, you made your words clear for the CPW audience and management. What's next?
Just keep rising to the top. Simple. I've got this match with him that we were just talking about at Pollock, 30th of May, for the Glasgow School Wrestling belt. So firstly, I'll dispose of him instantly, and then from there it's only upwards and onwards, and upwards. I've been involved with the CPW heavyweight champion Ross Hauser once, but again a triple threat match, of which, if you want to do the Scott Steiner maths, means I didn't have much of a chance, which is unfair on me. And I feel I could take that belt and make it into something that it deserves to be. That people should be coming to Scotland or Glasgow or anywhere to come and face a champion like Nick Justice, to want to hold the CPW heavyweight championship. And I'll put that respect on it, because Ross, for me, he's just not cutting the mustard in that respect. Like, paper champion, he's got the belt, but is really the champion. Who everyone talks about isn't Ross Hauser, it's Nick Justice, and that's just a fact. And, again, his time will come when an opportunity arises. You better watch his back, because I've got that killer instinct. I'll do whatever it takes to bring justice to CPW. Just is how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know as well that is your main goal, and I'm sure you will achieve that in any way you can. And I know as well, Nick, you're a very busy man, and we'll wrap it up here, because I know you have a lot to attend to with your busy schedule of bringing justice to Scottish wrestling. So, final question for you, my friend. Again, thank you for joining us for this episode run to 200. I'm going to say it because I think every guest who has on, I believe in them. When you become CPW World Champion,
Like that.
what do you want to add to the championship? How do you want to make it a belt that represents you? What is your statement as champion?
So that's key. When I get the CPW Heavyweight Championship belt, I'll put respect on it. The only person that really had or put respect on that belt was Thatcher Wright. Every other champion, and Sam Barber as well. Every other champion has just cut the mustard. And what I'll do is I'll take that belt no matter where I go. If it's if I'm going to do my shopping, I'll have that round my waist or over my shoulder. People will know that I'm the champion of CPW. People know what community pro wrestling is. I'll take it wherever. If I'm wrestling down south, if I'm wrestling in Europe, if I'm wrestling abroad, I'll take that goddamn belt with me as well. People will know that I'm the champion of community pro wrestling. I will put that on the map. People will want to come and see Nick Justice because he is CPW champion. People will want to come and wrestle Nick Justice from all over the world because Nick Justice is CPW champion. You don't have that just now. Mark my words, when I get that belt, I'll put it on a pedestal. I'll be the greatest CPW champion that you've ever seen, and probably the last one, because I'll never let it go. Going to need an army to take that belt from me. So, listen, you want to come at the king, you best not miss. So, I'll leave it at that.
Fair statement. Short, brief, and to the point, mate. Well, you know what? That's fair enough, Nick. I'll take that. Of course, folks, thank you as always for joining us with Nick Justice as we head to our 200th episode of the Soul Sessions. It was a pleasure to bring him back. And remember, as always, Instagram link down below. Follow Nick, see his journey. And when he does win that title, you can see it being raised on the pedestal. Thank you, folks. As always, as I say, as a good Scotsman, down your drink, put your chairs away. And thank you as well for tuning in for another episode of the Soul Sessions.
Now I'm out the human too. Gonna live like animals do. No more laws and no more rules.